Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Grapevine, and this is going to be our first video. I was trying to get Wesley on here tonight with me, but it is kind of late. I just tried to call him. He didn't pick up, so he may be in bed already. So, anyways, I'm super excited. I am going to start incorporating basically how everybody else is doing their podcast. I'm just super behind. But I've been talking with a friend of mine. He does a podcast called Cynical Sheep. And so I've been talking with him this week on basically how to just better my show, because he's been doing his for a little while now. And so, of course, Wesley and I just started this maybe 6 weeks ago or so. I think we're on episode 6 or 7. So I want to start making it better for you guys. So yeah, we're going to start doing video. I've got a YouTube channel made, and so I'm going to start uploading videos on there. Super pumped about that. So I'm just kind of doing this as a test. This is going to be a little kind of announcement thing. This will be our first video to upload, just kind of get me used to uploading videos and editing videos. So I'm super pumped. Thank you guys so far for who's listening. Like I said, this is kind of a test. I don't really even have many kind of notes or anything right now. I just kind of wanted to do this for myself. So either way, if you guys are listening, thank you. If you guys have any questions or comments, I've got a page on Facebook. And like I just said, I'm going to start that page on YouTube, start a YouTube channel, start uploading our videos on there. So I may even get a clip of this, or I'll probably get a clip of this right now and just put it on our Grapevine page for Facebook, and I'll tag Wesley in this and hopefully get him on the next video. So our next one should be out when we do our episode on Sunday. So yeah, what else can I talk about? So I'm talking about Wesley and I just for a minute. I don't know if I've said this yet before. I haven't known Wesley for very long. When we met, we just kind of really hit it off. Me and him became just good friends right off the bat. And, a few weeks later, we're sitting in church on a Wednesday. My mom's the youth pastor at our church, and she's up there speaking. And we're just sitting there like going back and forth about something, like trying not to be distracting, because me and him were just getting along like brothers almost, just kind of like kidding around. And we were still interacting with my mom and everything, preaching. And man, I just leaned over to him and I was like, you know what, dude, I just had an epiphany. And he was like, what? I was like, I'll talk to you after service because we're being distracting. And I said, so after service, fast forward, I was like, dude, we need to start a podcast. And he goes, yes. So I'm going to love starting to get Wesley on video, start getting better quality audio and everything. I'm incorporating my microphone right here. Well, this is just the pop filter, whatever you call it. But anyways, I want to start bettering our audio and everything. So I'm just incorporating new ways. So yeah, I'm going to start just using this video for YouTube or whatever. So anyways, yeah. So me and Wesley have known each other now for, I don't know, just a few months really. And like I said, we just hit it off like we've known each other forever, almost like we're brothers. We are brothers in Christ, right? So either way, I'm super pumped. I guess I've wanted to do a podcast for a while. Everybody started doing them, right around 2019, 2020. I don't even need to say what happened around that time, but I guess a little about myself. I'm not going to go into a whole lot because I kind of want, as you guys listen to the podcast, you would kind of get to know us better that way, if that makes sense. I feel like that's kind of cool. I know the podcast I listen to or some YouTube channels I watch, there's not really an episode where they're like, this is me, this is my life. You just kind of get to know them as you watch them. So I think that's kind of cool. But I guess, I don't know. I said I don't want to get too detailed. So I live in a little town. I say little, I think the population may be like 20,000 or so, but Okmulgee, Oklahoma, if anybody's familiar with that, it's nearby Tulsa area. So really cool town. We moved here about 3 years ago. Me and my wife now have been married for about 4 years. And God called us here. I mean, God called my mom and my dad to come here and youth pastor. My mom, like I said, has moved into full-time youth pastoring now for almost 3 years at our church. And we were just here visiting our current pastor. because him and his wife, we'd known them for years. Anyways, we were here visiting them, and my mom at the time was transitioning out of like working on an Air Force base, and she just felt God calling her into more into youth ministry full time. And anyways, we were here visiting, and we were at lunch with our pastor and his wife, and he just basically offered her the job. And she looked over at me and my wife, my mom did, and she was like, would y'all want to move with us? And I was like, I'd move here in a heartbeat. It just felt right. The timing was right. That's really all I can say about that. I mean, like, God just had it timed out just right, and there's so many other details I could go into. Like I said, I'll just keep that short. I think that's just super cool, and seeing God work ever since we moved here. And just a couple months after we had that conversation of what it would look like to move here and everything, I think we moved like in the next couple of a month or two. And so we've been here, like I said, about 3 years now. It's been awesome. So anyways, my vision for the Grapevine has just been I was talking to Wesley, and we were like, man, what should we title this thing? And he was like, he said some ideas, I said some ideas, and he just said something and it made me think of like, oh, we should name it like I heard it through the grapevine. But I was like, that might be a little too on the nose, a little too, God, I love classic rock music. And of course, that's like a CCR song. So, anyways, say what you will about that. But I was like, let's just call it the Grapevine. I think that's a really cool name. It can definitely be incorporated with kind of a Christian theme, however you want to say that. But anyways, so my vision for the Grapevine is to hopefully just have an atmosphere where it's kind of a Bible study, but it's also just me and Wesley going back and forth on our perspectives on the stories that we go over, and just to hopefully incorporate a little more how do I want to say that, audience interaction. I also want to incorporate interviews in the future. Like, we'll start to have different maybe pastors on here, different people. It doesn't have to be pastors. Just I love God has like given me just a love for conversation, and so I want to have people on here that I just get different perspectives from. And what that means is basically just different perspectives on anything, life in general. And I mentioned this on our podcast, like description, that we'll talk a little bit about politics or whatever, worldviews on different things. I've always had kind of an open mind about what other people think. I mean, I don't try to be closed-minded. Now, there's things I won't waver on, of course. My foundation as a Christian, there's things I'm not going to change, whatever that may be. There's things I'm not willing to compromise on. But there's definitely perspectives we can still have our minds open for, especially if it means moving that person closer to Jesus, having a relationship with Jesus. And that's more important than me being right about a conversation. Like I said, if it means compromising the truth, I won't do that. But one person I really like to listen to here recently has been John Cooper from Skillet. So listening to his kind of awake and alive kind of theme, he talks a lot about the truth, and he's super cool. I know with his band, he reaches a wide community of, Christians and non-Christians. I mean, they're kind of like they're a heavy rock metal kind of community. So it's really cool, really neat. That's the kind of atmosphere I want to have here, is just be open. I mean, open for anybody. I mean, something I've been really getting into here recently is Christian apologetics. How we can know that God exists, and the different evidences for God and all that entails. And so that's going to trickle in. I want to do episodes over that. Right now, we've been going through the New Testament. That'll be our guideline to kind of give us a guideline into the in the future. That's what we're going to follow. And so in between, to maybe kind of break some monotony, not to call the Bible monotonous, but if you sit there and just drill it week by week, maybe it could get a little, you kind of zone out. I've done it. So I don't want to take away from the Bible. So we'll take, I guess, breaks, however you want to say that. Anyways, we'll do stuff in between, stuff like maybe an apologetics lesson. If you guys start messaging in different comments, things that you want to hear on the page or on the podcast, we can start doing that. And then, so where was I going with this? That's just kind of my vision for the Grapevine. I mean, we'll just see where it goes. I mean, eventually Wesley, like I said, Wesley's here. Well, he's back home right now in somewhere near Fort Smith. I think Piccolo or something. I'll have to ask him again. But anyways, make sure I'm still recording. Yep. Trying to be fancy. So I've got a different angle over here. So what's up to my phone videoing over there? As we go forward, eventually he doesn't live here permanently, and Wesley doesn't permanently live here in Okmulgee. He's going to school here. He's on an internship right now. He'll be back, I think, in just a few weeks. But anyway, so when he's here, we'll record, in the same room together. So that'll be cool. But I think most of our videos in the future are going to look like this, but he's going to be on this call with me. And so that's going to be super cool. It's still going to be doable. So just as long as he's available, I'm just going to keep doing this. And, I don't see why we couldn't, unless he starts taking a different path, which is totally cool. I want to keep continuing in this either way, but Wesley is a huge part of this for me. So I don't really like to do anything by myself. I was telling my wife the other day that I said I never, I don't really do much by myself. Even if I have time to myself, I will find a way just naturally. I'll find myself doing what somebody else is doing, and then I make myself busy doing that, which is cool. Sometimes I'm like, man, I cannot just bring myself to go, because I'm like, I love the lake, I love to hammock. And I'm like, by the time I almost set out to do that, I'm like, it almost sounds boring just to be out there by myself. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that, but I just love hanging out with people. I think God's just given me that just that personality. I mean, I love to just hang out with other people. I had a friend of mine ask me once when me and him first started hanging out, and I was like, I was genuinely interested in everything he was interested in. We'd go fishing. I helped him set up like his deer stand one time, even though I never actually went hunting with him, but I helped him do that. I'd hang out with like him and his family, pool parties, whatever. And at some point he was just like, man, what do you do, Alex? And I was like, I don't know. I literally said, I do what you do. I do what other people do. Not that I'm like pro at anything, but I think God's given me just kind of like enough flexibility in my quote unquote talents to be able to easily incorporate myself into what somebody's doing, if that makes sense. I think it's cool. I mean, but so some stuff I do is going to be music. I love music. I love playing the drums. I love talking to people. So I feel like that's that's a whole community right there. So anyways, with that being said, it was just kind of funny when I had that conversation with my friend of mine. He was like, what do you do? I was like, I just do whatever you do, So, but no, I like to do things, but anyways, I like to just find myself hanging out with somebody. I feel like that's just it's a good use of time. Not that I have to it's not like it's natural. It's not like a sacrifice of time that I'm like, all right, I guess I'll spend some time with this person, but it just happens naturally. Like me and Wesley, I'm like, dude, because like I said, I wanted to start a podcast. I guess it's been in the back of my mind, but when I met him shortly after we met, I'm just like, we need to do this podcast. I feel like a podcast goes better when there's just two people, and then you have a guest on or something. But I think that's cool. So, anyways, like I said, my friend that does the podcast Cynical Sheep, y'all should check him out. He's available on Spotify. A little plug for him. So, but anyways, he's a super cool podcast. And but the guy he does his podcast with, so the guy who kind of, I guess they both host it, but my friend Aaron, who does the show, is in Arkansas. His friend, I think, is in like Louisiana or something. So I mean, they do their calls remotely, however you want to say that. But anyways, so that's plenty doable in the future. So yeah, like I said, so I'm pretty excited about what the future holds for this show. So like I said, a little shout out to Wesley. Maybe I'll get a clip of this, like I said, on Facebook or something. I'll tag you in it. So boom, that's it. That just kind of an intro to our YouTube channel, I guess. Right now is what I'm doing, and this will also just give me a little practice on some video editing, either tonight or tomorrow. Then I'll get this uploaded or whatever. So anyways, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for any future listeners out there. I'm not trying to, I don't know that I have a vision to monetize this. I mean, I don't need to make any money on it. I'm just doing it for fun. If in the future I start doing it more, possibly, but I don't know. Like I said, I just started this for fun. With that being said, as we grow or whatever, I mean, like I said, I'm not necessarily even worried about numbers, but it's not about making my name bigger. But if this show wants to grow and that is making an impact for Jesus, that's what I really care about. So if this show is really going to do that, which I hope and pray that it does, then that's the reason I want it to grow. So anyways, yeah, any future ideas, you guys can start type it in the comments or whatever on Facebook, YouTube, and then I think we're still, Spotify. So we're going to be on Spotify. I'll start putting maybe just clips of our videos on Facebook and then full videos on our YouTube channel. So again, thank you guys so much